Hello all. So we have been discussing questions, previous year questions from TCS NQT examination. We have covered the topic logical reasoning. We have covered some topics from logical reasoning previously, and today we'll be doing a part 2 of the same logical reasoning itself. We'll be covering specifically one or two topics from the same. So let us go to the questions. So the first question is, given below is a question followed by two statements, 1 and 2, each containing some information. Which of the following statement is or are sufficient to answer the question, how is A related to C? So this particular question is from the topic data sufficiency, and we are having two statements here. And the first statement is A is the wife of B and B is the brother of C. And the second statement is C is the son of D. And we are given with four options. The first option is both 1 and 2 together are sufficient. Statement 1 alone is sufficient. Statement 2 alone is sufficient. Both 1 and 2 are sufficient. So here what we have to do is we have to read the options given, and from the options given we have to go back to the statements and see whether which among the statements is sufficient to answer this question. For example, if we can answer, there is a question, that is how A is related to C is the question here. If we have to see whether if we can answer that particular question using the first statement alone. If we can do that, the answer would be statement 1 alone is sufficient. And after that, we have to see whether we can answer the question using statement 2 alone. So if we can answer using 2 alone, the correct option would be statement 2 alone is sufficient. If it is required to use both the statements together, or if we are only able to obtain an answer while combining both the statements, then the answer would be both 1 and together are sufficient. Okay, and if we cannot answer, that is if we cannot answer the question using both the statements, there are two statements here. If we cannot find an answer solution to the question using both the statements, then the answer would be both 1 and 2 are not sufficient. So this is the pattern, or this is how the questions will be from data sufficiency, and this will be the options too. Okay, yeah. So here it is given, I am reading the statement first. The first statement is A is the wife of B. So we have already discussed previously from blood relations how to draw it using diagrammatically. So here B is there and B is a male. So B is having a wife, B is having a wife and his wife is A. Okay, so A is generally a female. Okay, and B is the brother of C is given. So B and C are related. We don't know the gender of C. Okay, so here we have drawn the diagram, and the question is how is A related to C? So obviously we can see the relationship between A and C is C's brother's wife is A, which means we can find a relation using first statement alone. We need not need the second statement here. So we can find a solution using first statement. So the answer would be option B, statement 1 alone is sufficient. Okay. So we are moving to the second question. The second question we have, find the wrong term in the letter cluster series given below. And there is a series given. This is a question from Coding, Decoding, and specifically Odd Man Out. So in order to solve these questions, we basically need to have the alphabet series with us. So what I'm going to do first initially is I'm writing letters A to Z, A, B, C, D. Okay, now I have the alphabet series with us. Now I'm trying to find some sort of relationship between the cluster of words that are given, and if any of the words or if any of the terms are not matching with a certain pattern, then that will be the odd term or that will be the wrong term. Okay, so here we are having DRTO and the second term is JXZU. So I'm trying to find a relationship between D and J and R and Z, T and R and X, T and Z, and O and U. So if I'm doing that, I can see I have marked D here and there is J with us. Okay, I have J, K, yeah. And there is J with us. So if I'm counting from D to J, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is exactly 6 letters ahead. J is exactly 6 letters ahead. And R and X, I'm trying to find a relationship between R and X. Similarly, R is here, X is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is also exactly 6 letters ahead. Similarly, we can find T and X, Z. So T is here, Z is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It follows the same pattern, and O and U. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this all is having 6 letters ahead. The relation is directly, that is, all these things are 6 letters ahead only. Okay, so that is the relation here. Now we are having JXZU. I'm trying to establish a relationship between, or a similar sort of relationship between GUWR also. So JXZU and GUWR. So if I'm seeing, I have marked J here and I have G here, which means 1, 2, 3. It's 3 behind, minus 3 behind J and G. X and U, similarly, I can see a similar sort of relationship. That is, it is 3 letter behind. Okay, so U is 3 letter behind X. Similarly, W is Z is 3 letter behind W, and U is also 3 letter behind R. So here I can establish a relationship with, that is, minus 3. So far I can see that the pattern is like this only, and similarly MAOX and JXZU also I can see a similar pattern, that is plus minus 3. Okay, yeah, the pattern is minus 3. So here the pattern should be plus 6, but I can see, if I'm trying to find a relation here between GUWR and MAOX, there is something wrong here, because you see the pattern should be plus 6 only, but if I'm connecting J with M, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 6 is there. U and A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. W and O. See here, in case of W and O, the pattern is not matching plus 6. So that is the term which is wrong, or that is the odd man term here. So the pattern should be plus 6, minus 3, plus 6, and again minus 3. But the term MAOX is not matching with our pattern. So that is the odd man here. Okay. So the correct option is option C, MAOX. Okay. Okay, so we are having the third question with us. The third question is again something from data sufficiency. Here also there are two statements given, and the options I have already discussed. How will we select the correct option from this particular 4 options that are given? So we'll see the question. The question is, who sits second to the right of D? So this is seating arrangement data that is given. So one thing that I have you people to remember is, once when there is a seating arrangement question given and it is circular arrangement in specific, see here it is given, there are people sitting, there are 5 persons sitting around a circular table is given. Okay, so once when there is a circular arrangement question given and it is given that all the people or all the persons are sitting around a table, okay, they are facing towards the inside, which means obviously they will be facing towards each other, or they will be facing towards the center only if they are sitting around a table. Okay, in such a case we have to consider the right of every person, every single person around the table. The right will be always taken in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, and the left of every single person will be taken in clockwise direction. Okay, so this is something that you have to keep in mind. This is a tip. Okay, so if you instantly remember this when there is a question from circular arrangement or around a table for a meeting, and you can easily solve the question. Okay, so here there are 5 persons. I am just marking 5 points. Okay, so the first statement is A sits immediately to the right of E. Okay, so I am marking E somewhere here. And A is sitting to the right of E. Okay, to the right of E means A should go in which direction? A should go in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Yeah. And it is also given E and D are not neighbors. So there are only two places where I can fix D, that is here and here. I cannot fix D, which is next to E. Okay. And the second statement. So using first statement alone, we cannot find who is sitting right to D, second right to E, we cannot definitely find. So I'm just going to the second statement, that is B is to the immediate left of D. Okay, so B is sitting immediately to the left of D. So the left of D means the left of D should go in clockwise direction only. So if I'm placing D here, the clockwise direction of the position next to the clockwise of D will be this, which is already occupied. So the only place where I can place D will be here. So if I'm placing D here, the position of B will be here. Okay, so D is there, B is here, and the remaining one, C, will be placed here. Okay, so this is our position. And to answer this question, we used both the statement. Using first statement alone, we cannot find an answer to the question. Using second statement alone also, we cannot find an answer to the question. Using both the statements, we were successfully able to land onto the correct answer. So the correct option is, yeah, if the data in both statements 1 and 2 together are necessary to answer the question, is the right option, option B. So let us move to the fourth question. So in the fourth question, we have 5 persons A, B, C, D, E, and are comparing the number of books they have bought recently. A bought more books than C and E, but not the highest. B bought more books than, okay. So if I'm representing it, I have A is greater than C and E, but not the highest. B bought more books, okay, but not the highest. So the highest one can be either, it can be either D or B. So B bought more number of books, more number of books than exactly one person is given. So definitely here there is one more person ahead of A, which means that there is two options here. Either B can come there and also D can come there, but I'm marking D here because B definitely won't be the person who is ahead of A. Why is that? Because it is already mentioned B bought more number of books than exactly one person. Okay, so there is only one person who is behind B. Okay, so if I'm placing B here, there will be definitely more than there will be definitely 4 person who will be behind B. So B is not the highest ranking person, it will be definitely D only. Okay, so D is there, A is there, and C will be here, B will be here, and E will be here. So it can also come E and C, like this also it is possible. Okay, so then which of the following bought the highest number of books is the question. So definitely the answer is D only. Yeah, option B, D. So moving towards the fifth question, among P, Q, R, S and T, Q is the tallest and S is immediately taller than the shortest. R is neither taller nor shortest. Who among them is the middle when they stand in the order of their heights is the question. Okay, so we are having 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Q is the second tallest, which means I can place Q here. And S is immediately taller than the shortest. Okay, immediately taller than the shortest means S will be placed, okay, second from the back. And R is neither the tallest nor the shortest. Okay, so who among them will be the middle? R is not taller, not shorter, which means R can be placed here only. Okay, it's not shorter also, it's not taller also. So R will be in the middle. Okay, the right answer is option A, R. Okay, so next we'll be discussing the sixth question. The sixth question is also from topic of Sufficiency. So the question is like this: given below is a question followed by two statements 1 and 2. Decide which of the statements is or are sufficient to answer the question, and we are given with two statements as well as a question. And the question is, what is the color of human blood? The statements given are: red is called white and white is called yellow. Yellow is called pink and pink is called green. So among the statements given, we have to find out whether both statements are required to answer the question given, or statement 1 alone is sufficient or statement 2 alone is sufficient. Okay. So So here what we have to do is, we have to read the question first. And the question here is, what is the color of human blood? And we know the logically correct answer for the question is red only. Okay. So here it is given the word red is coded as white, or the word red is called white in the very first sentence only. Okay. So only first statement is required to answer the question, which is what is the color of human blood? The answer will be white only, because red is called white. So what we have done is, we have read the question, we have prepared a logically correct answer for the question, and we have seen what is the substitute word for the logically correct answer. Okay. So here the answer would be statement 1 alone is sufficient to solve the particular problem. Okay. So moving towards the seventh question, we have W, X, Y and Z should be seated in a column such that Y and Z sit together and X sit in one place. Then which of the following is not true? The question. Not true is the question. We are having 4 options with us, and we have to see which among the option is the wrong option. Okay. So there are 4 seats and X is sitting in the second place. Obviously, Y and Z can be placed like this or like this alone. So W will again come in the first place only. So the option 1, W sit in third row, is obviously wrong. So that is the wrong option we have already got. But again, if you are checking the other options to see whether any of them is wrong, again, Y sit in the third row can be right. W sit in first row is right. And Z sit in the fourth row also can be right. So all the other options, which is B, C, D, can be the right answers. So the only wrong option is option A, W sit in the third row. Okay. So moving towards the 8th question, it's a question from data sufficiency. Again, we are having 2 statements here and the options are given. We have to choose the correct statement based on whether we can answer the question that is given or not. Okay. So here we are having obviously spends a certain amount of money to buy 15 consoles, 12 headphones. There are 2 statements given. So based on the statements, if I am about to draw equations, I am considering the number of consoles as X and the number of headphones is Y. So I can write 15x plus 12y will be equal to 201,000. This is the equation that can be formed from first statement. But here again, we cannot find an answer to the question based on this particular statement alone, because here there are 2 variables. We have to find the value for X and Y, then only we can find how many consoles and how many headphones are there. So using this particular equation alone, we cannot solve the answer. So if we are checking the second equation or second statement, we can form an equation like 7x plus 9y is equal to 121,000. So here also there are 2 variables again involved. We cannot find a direct answer using these 2. But if you're combining both these equations together, or if you're combining both the statements together, then we can simply cancel out either one of the variable and we can obtain the value for X or Y, whatever it is. Okay, we need not find the value of X and Y separately, because the question is just to see whether we can find the answer or not using the statements. Okay, so the correct answer will be, we can find the answer using both the statements. If the data in both statement 1 and 2 together are necessary to solve the answer, it is option B. The right answer is option B. Okay. So M is taller than T but shorter than Y. The next question, Y is shorter than only O. Y and M are shorter than O. T is only taller than N. Who is the tallest among N, L, O, T and Y is the question. Okay, so M is taller than T but shorter than Y. Y is shorter than O only. So O is the tallest. Okay. Y and M are shorter than O. T is only taller than N. So N is the last person. So who is the tallest among N, L, O, T and Y is the question. So the first correct answer is option A, O. So this particular question, we need not use the second statement, because we can solve it using the first statement alone, because it is obviously given M is taller than T but shorter than Y. Y is shorter than only O is mentioned. Okay, if it's only O, it obviously means there is only one person who is ahead of Y, which is O only. So O is the tallest person. We need not need the second statement to answer the question. So the question can be answered using first statement alone. Okay, so if only one statement is sufficient to answer the question, option D is the right answer. Okay, so we are moving to the last question of the series. The last question is again from sufficiency question. The question is Tanya is older than Eric. Cliff is older than Tanya. Okay, Tanya is older than Eric and Cliff is older than Tanya. And Eric is older than Cliff. You cut. അല്ല അതല്ല ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് ഇതിങ്ങനെ ടാനിയ is older than Eric. Cliff is older than Tanya. Eric is older than Cliff.
Tanya is older than Cliff.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so the last question of the series, which is Tanya is older than Eric. Tanya is older than Eric. Cliff is older than Tanya. And Eric is older than Cliff. If the two statements is correct, the third statement, that is Eric is taller than Cliff, will be false only because it is not satisfying. If Tanya is older than Eric and Cliff is older than Tanya, then obviously Eric cannot be older than Cliff. Okay, so the third statement, if both the statements 1 and 2, if this is 1 and this is 2 and this is 3, if both 1 and 2 is right, then third statement cannot be right. Okay, so the statement 3 is false only. Okay, option B, false, is the right answer. Okay, so I hope all the 10 questions we have discussed so far is again clear to you people. So this was the end of the session 2 of logical reasoning previous year questions from TCS NQT. I hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.